Hello and welcome to the Wellness League podcast. My name is Jenna and I'm one of your hosts.
My name is Ella. I'm also one of your co-hosts. Hey Jenna, how was your week this week? Hoping it was better than last week.
My week has been okay, thank you for asking. Nothing too major to report in terms of life updates. It's been a pretty busy and stressful week, just with a lot on. I'm trying to fit a lot on in my weeks. Next week, I'm starting the female-specific nutrition course, so I will be excited to report back to you on the following podcast and tell you all about what I've learned in the first couple of weeks.
Oh, how good. You've been talking about doing this course for a while. That's so exciting. I can't wait to hear where you go with it. So, my week was a little better than the last week. And we're finally getting off the roller coaster, which is exciting. The sun was out and, really lifts the mood and makes it so much nicer. So hopefully we have a more sunny weather to come. So on the pod this week, we have Meg from Hello Pilates. Unfortunately, Jenna wasn't able to sit in for this interview. So enjoy your chat with me, Ella, and Meg. All right, so let's start with our first question. Who are you?
Hey guys, I am Meg Henderson. Soon to be Meg Shattock, actually. I haven't changed my name since I got married. I'm a Pilates instructor and studio owner, and I am a high school teacher / sport coordinator.
Nice. Thanks for joining us today, Meg. So first question is, why didn't you change your name yet?
Well, if you want the honest truth, I've just been lazy. You have to go into the banks and change all of the documents.
Okay, fair cool. I haven't had to do it yet, so
not
I
about
can't
that just
understand. So what's your earliest memory of being fit?
I would say probably just like same as you, just through sport, like
Yep.
school sport and club sport. I actually did my first ever sport that I did was Irish dancing.
Wow.
Yes, so I come from a bit of a dance background,
Yep.
but I finished that when I was about 13 because I had some issues with my hips.
Right.
So then I sort of said to my mum, I was like, because dance is it takes up your life, really.
Yeah.
You don't really have any other options of sport. So when I was in year 7 or year 8, I was like, whoa, the world is my oyster. And I said, Mum, I really want to try netball.
Yep.
I remember heading out to my first ever trial down here at Northeast Zodiacs or something.
Oh my God, I played there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they literally trialed me and then didn't ask for me back. And I was like, I'm literally 13, give me a break. And then I ended up going to another club and I got in, and pre-season, my first training, we were doing Indian runs around the oval and I was so humbled and I vomited in this bin. It was that was my first memory
if it helps
of team sport.
I stacked it at one of my first trainings and literally almost knocked myself out. So
I feel like you all have that moment, right? Where you're welcome to sport. This is what it's
so
like.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Take yourself
that's
to club and crap happens.
Yeah.
How good. So back to your Pilates, when did you become an instructor?
So I did my course 2020, I think it was.
Yeah, so during the lockdowns?
Yeah, I think that's when it was.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, pretty recently actually,
Yep.
sort of right before we opened up the studio, or sort of as we were thinking about opening a studio.
Yeah, well, that goes into the next question. How did you start the idea from opening the studio to making it happen?
Yeah, so Ollie and I had always talked about doing something together.
Yeah, so Ollie being your partner.
Yeah, my husband. And he's got a pretty good business mind. He has his own business as well as the studio.
Nice.
And I don't know, one day we were just having a conversation and he's like, I know you're really into your Pilates, and obviously I've had a bit of experience with with fitness, I guess, in total, in general. But he's like, what if we were to start up a studio? He's like, there's nothing really in the area.
Yeah, you got in right at the right time before a lot of
Well,
other
it would
things.
have been better if we had got in when we originally wanted to. We actually had a lot of setbacks, but Eliza, who works for us at the studio, is Ollie's sister.
Yeah,
And
we're friends of friends because of growing up in the area.
Yeah, everyone knows everyone, hey. And then we also wanted a way to sort of be able to, I guess, give her an opportunity to get some work too. And she's a
nice.
physio, so
Cool.
I guess future thinking, we were like, oh, we might eventually be able to merge as a bit of a physio studio maybe.
Yeah, I like that.
But so then we just And literally the next week, Ollie was like, so I've looked into some places, some leases. And I was like, okay, we're doing this. I was
Yeah.
thinking like 5-year plan,
Yeah.
but Ollie had different ideas.
Yeah.
And
You
then
always need that kind of person.
You do.
It's
yeah.
like Jenna and I. I'm like the one, she'll have like the good ideas. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, that's you need someone like that. And I'm
Yeah.
not. I'll always think of like I'm the devil's advocate. Like I'm always like, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
We should put this off.
Yeah.
And then we actually had a spot in Newton for a while. So we were going to be in Newton, and then things just fell through, and we had a few issues there. And we actually put a lot of money into Newton too. So we kind of started on a bit of a negative because we were down financially, but we found a way. And
Love it.
then by about a year and a half later, we had opened our doors. So
Yeah, you've got a really nice spot there at Mulberry Triangle too.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good little location. It's a bit of a bummer, like with the food lane closing, because I feel like that sort of stops the foot traffic.
Yeah.
But no, it's been really good.
At least you're on the outside as well, so a lot of people can see it as they come past.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So fast forward to now, how many classes are you running a week yourself and is happening in the studio? And also, how many members have you got?
So, gosh, you're really testing me here. Now we have I think we have a total of like 250-ish members.
Yeah, nice.
We have some that are on membership, some that are on class packs. So it sort of like fluctuates.
I find that with my business as well. Like I have the similar kind of thing.
Yeah.
That you have your solid members on the memberships, but then the people who buy the packs because they travel and everything too. So
yeah, and I think it's like good to have that variance because some people it works well for them to pay week to week, and then others it's like they just don't want the commitment. So that's fair. But I think so. I only work Sundays at the moment just because of my teaching, and then I'll fill in every now and then. But across the week, I want to say, I don't know a number, but we're open every day, every morning, every night.
Yeah, nice.
And then till about midday most days. So
yeah, nice.
yeah.
And how many trainers have you got now?
We have 8.
Yeah, that's a good amount.
7 or 8. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's something you wish you knew before becoming a Pilates instructor / business owner?
There's so many facets to that.
Let's go Pilates instructor first then.
I think something. Well, I guess like you learn it as you go.
Yeah.
But just like how important it is to know that every client has like a different goal.
Yep.
And that Pilates doesn't mean the same thing for everyone.
Yeah.
I think that's probably like the most valuable thing that you can have as an instructor. Like even if you're like a greenie and you're fresh out, as long as you have like a bit of an understanding that, you know, your class plan that you make might not be suitable for everyone.
Yeah.
And like just
and being able to adapt it to everybody's needs. Yeah.
And that's where like layering comes in. And I've learned that along the way is like
your body layers murder my glutes all the time.
Well, that's the point. But yeah, you want to have like be able to start somewhere. You know, like when you get out of Pilates training, you see all this like cool stuff on Instagram. You're like, oh my God, cool, I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go like take a step back and be like,
not everyone can do that.
Yeah. And it's also really hard. And you know, sometimes if we try something new, it takes like a while just even to set up and like demo and stuff. So
yeah.
I think as an instructor, that's something that is important to know.
Yep.
You know.
Do you practice the classes before you teach them as well?
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Yep. Do you have like a reformer at home or you just go in the studio?
No, I just come in and do it in the studio or you get to a point where sometimes you'll just be able to plan without having to come in. But if it's anything I'm teaching that's new, I'll always come in and I like to have a feel for how the class flows. So like just thinking about okay, if I'm like coming into back facing, I want to be somewhere on the reformer that's easy to transition into that.
Yeah, I like that you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I'm not
easy
like
to
standing
spot.
up, sitting down, lying down, like, you know, all different things.
Yeah.
And then as a business owner, I think
did you have like a business plan before you went into any of it or?
Yeah, sort of.
Do you wish you planned it a bit more?
Oh, I guess that's probably one thing is like you just have no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
Like we went into this like we might not be successful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like one thing I think that is so important as a business owner is to just, and it's something we're still working on, obviously, because I'm not able to give like 100% of my time
it's
at the
hard.
moment.
Yeah, same
Is
with mine.
like social media, like how important that is for your
It's
business.
so hard.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's hard. It's not easy. Like I feel weird coming in and just like filming people working out. Like I don't, that's not natural for me. I just feel a bit weird doing it, but I know like it's sort of something that I have to do to get content, to get reels. Like it's like it's a lot.
I agree. Like I've owned my business since 2020, so we're going into like 3 years now. But I was a head trainer before. But yeah, same. I always struggle with social media.
Yeah.
Like I literally post maybe once every 3 months. But it does help that my age group that I go for aren't the big social media, and they.
Whereas I'm like the complete opposite.
You're like the perfect.
Yeah, and we get clients like will email, like message us, be like, "You guys should get on TikTok," and I'm like,
"Oh my god!"
I'm just trying to get my head around Instagram.
Like, I feel the same. I'm like trying to play the TikTok game of not downloading it, and being like a real adult, but at the same time, I'm like, we need to get on there soon.
No, the world is changing.
I just don't want to get it and be stuck on there scrolling because I already scroll Instagram enough.
Yeah. I actually have it, but I don't use it. My sister just sends me like dog videos.
Yeah, but you know when they send you videos, you can look at them without having to log in.
Yes.
So that's how I do
very
it.
true.
Yeah.
You're a cheater.
No, I'm not
It's
cheating.
not fair.
I don't go and scroll. Is there a difference between training females and males in the class?
I like to say in Pilates, no.
Okay.
I think the best thing about Pilates is that everyone is on a level playing field.
Yep.
When you first come in for your first class.
Yeah.
Usually, in terms of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, like our male clients, they do like heavier resistance.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that always means you're working harder.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of a misconception that like heavier springs or heavier dumbbells equals harder work.
Right.
But everything is relative to your body mass. So like if you are a bigger person, you probably, if we're doing heavy springs, you probably could go up.
Yeah.
Which we keep in mind. But it's great because we do a lot of stability work, as you know.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much, hard for everyone.
No, I agree. So talking about the misconceptions of Pilates, what are a few of them that you think are false?
Oh, that it's stretching. I hate that one.
It's way more than stretching, I can tell you. I couldn't walk out the class this morning.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Then I went to the supermarket and I was like, oh no, this is not good. Fine now,
Can't
but
walk.
like within an hour after.
I do think though, like there's more education around now about it, and more people are doing it. Just probably just that it's about stretching and it's low impact, and it's a lot. It can be a lot more than that. It can be that, but it can be a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, fair enough. How are you coping with the competition in the area too, since Pilates has just become a big trend and there's a few studios that popped up around?
Yeah, I mean, we were I guess we were probably a little bit worried when like some started opening up really close to us, but I think we just had the mindset where it's like we can only do what we can control.
Yeah, that's
and we
smart.
can't let things are going to happen in any business that you feel like might detriment you.
Yeah.
But we just had the mindset, like as long as we're like making good connections with our clients and like we're producing good classes, we will keep people that want to stay. And you know what, if I was a young person, I'd probably try out every studio in the area before I made my decision.
Yeah, we did something similar. So we did go and try one of your competitors first.
Yeah.
And we actually really hated it. They were
really?
not very good trainers and stuff. I'm not going to say where because just as we bag it right now. We just found like we wanted to go for Pilates and that's just the trainers weren't very qualified in it.
Okay.
Came to you guys and we found it was amazing.
Oh, that's great.
So
it's great to hear that feedback. And I think when it boils down to it, everyone has a different like preference.
Yeah.
And like I can't sit here and say that we're going to fit everyone's preference.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine.
Yep.
Like I would prefer, everyone goes and does what they need to do, because I would if I was a young person seeking a studio right for me. So yeah. And I think that way you also get like loyal clients that are there the long haul. They're not just sort of floating around trying to find the cheapest deal or whatever.
That is a hard one, hey. That's why I find everybody's like, oh, you're really expensive. But then you find that once you come and get enough out of it, it actually works out to be really cheap if you do enough classes.
Yeah.
So, nice. And how's the challenge going?
It's great. It's so good. I'm loving it. It's, again, like, because we're so fresh, it's the first time we've run this challenge.
Oh,
and
right.
And obviously we did our bingo challenge earlier in the year.
Yep.
So we're just trying to
explain what challenge you're doing now.
Oh, so it's called Give Me 30 Days.
Yep.
And it's just a 30-day challenge. You have to do a certain number of classes across the 30 days. But we wanted to make it a little bit more than just like doing classes and ticking it off.
Yeah,
so we've been doing like weekly wellness goals.
Yep.
We did like a yoga class exclusively for our challenges last Friday night, which was it was beautiful. It was so good. And
did you move all the reformers out the way?
We did, yeah.
Oh, God.
Muscle. And we actually had a couple of clients that were in there and they were like, let us help you. So that was so nice.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so just kind of hoping that we can build on that next year and it can be, and you know, it's like, it's so hard as a business owner. Like we missed Are You OK Day, which would have been like perfect for the climate that we're in for this challenge.
But you just do it next year now.
Yeah, we'll do it next year. So I'm like, we can focus on that next year. And,
yeah. How exciting. And when did you open this studio?
We opened in December.
Oh, so have you got any plans for your 1 year?
Yes, all under wraps. I can't tell you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Stick around,
Just
guys.
make sure you're there.
Can you make sure it's a Sunday morning, please?
Okay, I can.
And do you get like lots of feedback from your clients as well?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, whether it's just like after a class, some people message us, which we love.
Yep.
We love it. Like even if it's not positive, we just we want to know how people are experiencing the classes and whether we can do anything differently. And it not just about classes too, about community and like, you know, a few people have asked whether we can have social get-togethers.
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to start doing a bit of that too.
Lovely. How do you take the bad reviews, like if it was yourself? Like if they're coming up to you at the end of the class and being like, I didn't like the way you did this, how do you take it?
Oh, I've never had someone directly say that, but like
I tell you murder my legs all the time.
Oh
But
yeah,
that's
but
funny.
we love that, right? Oh no, I don't know. I think I'm pretty good at taking feedback. I would just, I don't know. I don't know how I would take it.
Yeah,
but
no,
I
fair
see
enough.
if you're like you murdered my legs, I see that as positive.
Yeah, I would say
I see
that
that
too.
as good feedback.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else you want to talk about your Pilates studio? While we're here, do you want to plug it?
Oh yeah.
So where do we find you?
So we're at Modbury Triangle next to Zambreros. So you can get a cheeky burrito after
you work out. Don't do it before.
Yeah, so we're just in there at Modbury Triangle. We have a 5 for 50 intro offer if you're new to Pilates.
I recommend that. That's how I got on.
And then, yeah, we offer memberships, class packs.
So good.
Yeah.
And what's your Instagram handle?
Hello Pilates official.
We'll tag it in the show notes as well.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on to your school teacher side. So what made you want to be a school teacher?
I actually didn't know what I wanted to do when I left school. And then
Right.
I did this like year, actually 2 years. I got asked to be like our PE department at the school I went to,
Right.
the assistant.
Okay.
So I came back and I did a gap year just working. I went on like school camps, just helped out with PE department stuff. It was crazy as. It was
Yeah.
great. And I think I got a cert 4 in fitness out of it.
Yep.
Sport and recreation or something. And then came back and did it for a second year. And then by that time I was like, oh, I love being in a school. I think I want to be a teacher. So then went and did my degree. And yeah, that's kind of what got me into teaching.
Yeah, nice. And what kind of age group do you teach?
I teach middle years.
Okay,
So
nice.
7 to 10, sorry.
Yeah, when they're at their nicest.
Yeah, they're cute at that. Well, I don't know how primary teachers do it. I could never teach primary PE. I've
Yep.
taken a few reliefs and it's like next level.
They you just play.
They don't listen to you.
Was it like same as Pilates though?
Yeah, well, imagine trying to teach like little kids on a reformer. That would be crazy.
Yeah. I've taught kids class before and you just got to kind of like be so loose.
Yeah.
And just be like, yep, we'll do that now instead.
Yeah, and I would be like, you probably know, like I'm such a perfectionist when I teach, like everything I'm like, you must be looking like this. So if it was kids, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, the kids were like, I don't want to do burpees, this is
Yeah.
crap. And then they'd walk off and cry.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, good age group.
Yeah, it is. I'm also a sports coordinator at my
Well,
school.
fancy.
Yeah, so we Secondary sport coordinator.
Yep.
So I organise like all the Saturday sport teams.
Do you do like the Sapsaza and stuff as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
that was my
in
favourite.
secondary it's called statewide schools,
Right.
but in primary it's Sapsaza.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's changed actually. It may used to have been Sapsaza in
Yeah, look,
secondary.
I left school maybe, what's the year?
Yeah.
8 years ago.
I'm older than you, so don't even go there. But yeah, so we do like throughout the year we'll enter some knockout teams and we
nice.
trial for that, and then so on Saturdays I'm out at sport usually in the mornings.
Fun. So your whole weekend's filled up with exercise.
Yeah, pretty
Similar.
much.
Yeah, same here.
It sucks though because I can never get to Saturday classes unless sport's over.
Oh, right.
And then I teach Sundays, so I struggle to get to classes sometimes.
Yeah. So what is your role other than organising after school sports and stuff? What else do you do in your coordinating?
Yeah, so sometimes, I mean, this year we've started like an intercol competition against Kildare, so that's another part of my role. And then I think next year I want to try and do, there's like a netball carnival that we run in Melbourne. Mm-hmm. That's like a Catholic schools netball carnival, so I'll try and get a team entered there. But yeah, it's mainly just like week to week organising coaches and supervising teachers and running trainings and stuff, and then Saturdays games. So yeah, it's busy times.
And do you coach any of the teams as well?
Oh, look, if I can't find someone, I usually will.
Yep.
But I just find it's quite busy. Like I don't have the time to.
Yeah. What kind of sports have you got the girls in?
So this summer we've got basketball, volleyball, water polo, touch footy, and tennis.
Yeah, right.
And then
Good selection.
Winter, yeah, it is good. And like in the past, we've only sort of, I know years and years when I was at the school, it was like netball. That was it in winter.
Literally.
Whereas now we do like quite a good range of sports. So yeah, that's pretty much.
And what was the winter sports?
Winter we do netball, badminton, footy, AFL. Yeah. And then there's one more.
Do you have soccer as well?
Yes, soccer. There you go. I was like, what's the other one? Classic. Me not liking soccer. Yeah, so
nice.
yeah, it's a good range. We have like a really good AFL team.
Oh yeah.
Who've been sort of going through together. They're going to be seniors next year.
Yeah.
And
do you have any of the AFL clubs coming to you saying, "Can we come and watch any of the teams yet?"
No, not really. I think now because women's AFL and club AFL is at such a good place.
Yeah.
They just kind of go directly to there.
Yep.
But at the knockout comps, yeah, there'd probably be some people around looking at talent.
How good.
Yeah. Our girls got through to the statewide final last year, which is amazing.
Yeah.
First time ever our school's done that. So
How good.
Yeah, it was so good.
Teaching kids these days, how do you feel like teaching kids now is different to when you're at school?
Well, I guess we're in more of a technological era.
Yep.
So that's something that's definitely different.
Yeah.
I think that everything's different really. Like expectations, the load, like teaching load is a lot, I would say probably a lot higher than what it was. My mum's a teacher and we talk about this a lot.
Yep.
But just because of those advances in technology, it's now like everything's online. So like you're doing that like constant formative assessment.
Right.
So a lot of your time gets taken up doing that.
Okay.
So I think that's probably one thing that's a little different.
Yeah, because teaching's all up in the air at the moment as people are trying to fight for more time to...
Yeah.
Is it more time during the day to get their work done?
Yeah, I know Victoria are passing some like new, I don't know if it's rules legislation, where full-time teachers will teach a 0.8 load.
Okay.
So you get that line to do what you need to do admin-wise. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so that would be great if they brought that across, but...
And I think in Victoria too, they announced, I can't remember if it was maybe New South Wales, anyway, one of the states, they announced that they were going to put high school teachers through university for free.
Yes, that was Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a massive teacher shortage.
I'm like, there's a point where I'm like, would I become a teacher now? But no, I like my job, so we're good.
Yeah, you're all sweet.
Yeah.
No, it's like just talking to my mum particularly because she's been in it for like 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Like she's just seen a massive change in just the way things are done, really.
Yeah. Does she teach the same age group too?
No, she's a reception teacher.
Ooh.
God bless. She's in her 60s and still teaching receptions.
Oof.
So
oh my God.
Power to her.
The kids just like play games all day.
Oh, I wish.
All right, let's get on to women in sport. We had a bit of a chat about this before the pod and we got quite heated because we're both so invested in that. So let's go back to the World Cup. So that just happened and How did that affect like the kids talking about women playing sport,
Yeah.
and how do you reckon that's kind of
Well, the timing was quite good because in my health class we do a unit on women in sport,
Yep.
and it was like right at the same time.
yeah.
And we had a lot of like robust discussion, and it was interesting. The start of the unit, like we talked a lot about what their thoughts were about women in sport, and some of the girls were like, yes, I love watching girls in sport, and then the others were like, oh nah, like nah, I personally just don't find it interesting, and I personally just don't waste my time watching it.
Wow. And these are all
And
girls, right? In your
yeah, they're all
classes?
girls.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's such an interesting point. And some of the other girls, they get heated, and I'm like, no, this is fine. Like, this is important to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's totally, there was probably a time in my life where I thought the same.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about like how we're sort of wired to think that women's sport isn't as worth watching as men.
But do you reckon it's coming from like the older generations, like our
Yeah.
parents, our
Years.
grandparents, and
Years.
being like,
I'm talking like years and years and years and years of oppression.
yeah, because women's sport in a lot of the different sports is about 40 years behind where the men's at, maybe
Yeah.
even more. So like football and AFLW is everything. It's so far behind. So yes, they don't have the facilities yet. They don't have the coaches wanting to do it, or the coaches are saying that they want it as a step up to get into the male sport, and they're not dedicated enough.
It's like
yet.
this sort of lose-lose, because
Yeah.
people say, oh, well, it's not worth watching because A, they don't have the facilities.
Yep.
B, they don't have
the sponsorships.
the
as well.
sponsorships, and therefore they don't get prime time, or
Yep.
they don't get, as big of a rap. But then on the other hand, it's like if they were getting those things,
Yeah, the quality would
the
be better.
quality would be better,
Yeah.
and it would be quote unquote worth watching.
Yes.
And I feel like that whole term worth watching is just based on like what we've all been wired to think throughout years and years.
Yeah. Do you follow the Female Athlete Project and how she
Yeah,
talks
I
about
do.
it all?
Yeah.
I'm reading her book at the moment all about this stuff.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like really interesting.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And I think the best way to get young girls to change those mindsets is to like share those Instagram profiles.
Yeah.
Like I always share them with, I know you're not really supposed to like social media stuff, but I'm always like showing them cool Instagram posts about those sorts of things. And
Yeah.
it's just over this last 6 weeks, it's just been really interesting to see their mindsets shift a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you can see it like, oh, maybe I should sit down and watch this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually having withdrawals from the World Cup because I sat down and watched at least a game every single day.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, there's nothing to watch until the season starts next month for the English Premier League.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I going to watch
am I gonna
until
do?
that starts?
Yeah. I feel like the sport alone was really great, but there was also a lot of media that tapped into like what we'd been talking about. You know how they made those comments about I can't remember which player it was, about having a baby.
Katrina Gorry.
Yeah, and they were like, it's great to see she's still got the intensity and like the competitiveness.
Yeah, but you're actually a better athlete after having a baby because of the hormones that run through you. Yeah.
But I mean, like, why even question her
was
competitiveness
so
because
rude.
she's now a mother? Like, and we had these conversations in class, and it was so good. Like, the timing was perfect. It was great.
Yeah. Like, she was probably even more competitive now because her daughter's watching. And she runs around with her little soccer boots on and being like, that's my mum.
Yeah. And like, would they ever go to a man like, wow, you've just had a baby come into the family? Like, is your competitive spirit dampened?
Yeah, can you imagine? But yet the dads can just come back 2 weeks later and get back on the field. They don't mention how much a woman has to get through to come back.
Yeah.
Like, was there a netball player who came back 4 months after having a baby? I can't remember. I read about this the other day.
Probably a lot of them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And they have to, because
Like,
they've got 2 jobs, most of them. And
their contract says that they have to come back.
Yeah.
There was a soccer player, like a football player for Barcelona, went and had a baby. And I think, don't quote me on the teams now, but anyway, she was from Sweden and she signed her contract and it was like, oh, you knew you were pregnant. And she came out with it a couple of weeks later. They actually kicked her out the team and she went back to, was it Sweden or something? And then, she sued the team for saying that to her and they had to pay her out. Yeah, absolutely. Crazy.
Yeah. I feel like there's always going to be like, people with their opinions about that.
Yeah, but back to the money and stuff. They're still working 2 jobs, so they have their day jobs to be able to pay their bills, and then they've got to go and train all night to be able to play.
My U9s had no idea
Really?
that AFLW players work full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And I said,
Well, they
all
can't
right.
even work full times because they have to work
4
4 days
with their
a week.
training.
They have a whole day of training, but then they travel on the weekend.
Yeah. And I said, well, okay, well, now you know that. Why don't you go and look up the wage gap between AFL and AFLW? And they were
Hundreds of
like,
thousands.
they were shocked. They were like, what? This is absurd. I was like, yes.
Isn't the average AFLW player getting paid like 30 grand a season?
Yeah, I think it's between 30 and 40 grand.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's like less than a minimum wage full-time job these days.
Yeah.
And then they have to go and work that as well to be able to pay the bills and support their families, because a lot of them now have families as well.
Yeah, and I just think if we're really going to make a push on this and try and change the way things are, then these big clubs, they need to be, I don't know, is there some way that you can filter money through the men's side?
Yeah, exactly.
Just to keep the girls afloat for a while until...
I think also make it a full season, like the men's, or even not as short. 10-round season is not enough for enough people to be watching. And then also have every team play each other. There's a lot of teams that still haven't played each other. And how many years are we in? And also, like, then you'd have the money to be able to play, like, pay all your players a full-time wage.
I mean, with that said, though, like, we have come such a far way in the last few years.
I just think there's a long way to still go.
There is, yeah.
Like, even the World Cup, half being on a streaming platform, like, so you missed out on half the games.
Yeah.
Like, that was a bit of a low fall, but now they're no longer able to do that, which is good.
Yeah.
But still, there's a lot of those games that were on Optus Sport that people should have been watching. Just happened to be that my brother had a login, so I had it. But I mean, like, everybody should have had access. The World Cup the year before, the men's sport, we had access to every game. There's only a year apart between.
Same old story, isn't it?
Literally. You know what? I always think the Olympics are next year. I wonder what's going to happen between the women's and men's sport. Are people going to stay around and watch the women's now?
Well, I mean, I was at the state volleyball comp last weekend.
Yeah.
Men's played before the women's.
Of course.
And, you know, game's over. It's boring as anyway. The women's was way better. And people just leave the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, and then, I was speaking to, like, one of my mates, her partner is a state volleyball coach for the beach teams, and he was there. And after the game, he was like, strategically, like, the women's game, way better. Like, the plays and the strategy and the tactics, way better. I mean, I'm not a volleyball pro, but I could even tell.
Yeah.
Like, they had, whereas the boys were just a little bit more physical, as, you know, as they say, and just smacking it. Like, you know, I much prefer, I mean, I'm super biased, but I did prefer, but it was interesting hearing from him, who's a professional.
Yeah, interesting.
That there was a lot more tactic and...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even like, say like the CrossFit games, I mean, big into watching that stuff. I have actually stopped watching the men's as much, and I watch all the women events.
Yeah.
If I think the women have done well and I want to go and watch some of the men's, then I'll go and watch them.
Yeah.
And I'm finding a lot of people are doing similar stuff.
Yeah.
Like, men's is good, but it's not always amazing.
Well, just watch both. Like, you know, there's no...
If you're getting a ticket, stay.
Stay.
And watch
Support the
both. You know what would have been interesting on that volleyball game? If they put the women's before and people would have stayed and watched the men's and walked out of the men's.
Yeah. Well, I would assume people would have just rocked up late for the men's.
Yeah, true.
You know, there's no way around it. But
yeah,
I really enjoyed it. It was good.
Have you got any other women's sporting events coming up? Did you get to go to any of the World Cup games?
No, I didn't.
I went to China versus England.
Oh.
This was probably like 2 weeks before England played Australia. At the time, we didn't know England was going to play Australia, but they played so well.
Oh, really?
And it was interesting because then I'd watch them play in person to then watch them go and play Australia then into the final.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so much more interesting.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a massive football person. Like,
Well, you know what? I wasn't
but men's or women's. I've watched more women's than I have men's.
I wasn't before I knew enough about it.
Yeah.
Watched the documentary and I knew a lot of the main players. But now the World Cup, I could literally tell you the whole Australian team because I was like researching it while watching. As for like the AFLW, like I literally, I look at the scores at the moment. I just don't have time to be watching all the games. But I wish I had more time.
See, I watch more AFLW than I would soccer. Yeah. But I think usually you're either one or the other.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, at least they aren't going to be on the same season timings this year. So we have all women's sport at the same time. Yeah. We're going to do our 5 fast questions now.
Oh, no. Okay.
This is just the first thing that comes to mind. So the numbers are between 1 and 20. So you pick a number and I'll read the question out and you just say the first thing that comes to your head.
Okay.
So choose a number.
3.
All right, number 3 is if you could go back to a month in your life, when, where, and why.
December last year.
Oh, yeah?
Opened our business, got married, and then went to Japan.
What a hectic month.
It was sick. It was so good. Best month of my life.
Where'd you go in Japan?
We went to Niseko.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So, well, it was actually start of January, so little
Yeah.
little white lie there. But yeah, we just went to the snow.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
so
sick.
good. I was meant to be there too, but we went to Bali instead.
Oh, a hit.
Next one.
12.
All right, number 12 is your favourite actor or actress and why? First thing that comes to your mind, don't think about it.
What's the guy?
Show? Movie?
I really like Peaky Blinders.
Oh, yeah?
What's his name? Cillian someone? And
You
he
know
was
what?
on Oppenheimer. I really like him.
You know what? I can't watch it, Peaky Blinders, because my family's from the area. And so the accent, like that's how my
It's
family...
very hard to understand.
Yeah, but that's how my family talk. And so I hear it so much that it annoys me to watch that
I
show.
watch it with subtitles. I can't understand it.
I've been to where that's been filmed. My cousins live around the corner. In Birmingham.
Birmingham, is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
All right, next number.
Yeah, I really like him. 15.
All right, favourite place in the world and why?
Adelaide.
Yeah?
I'm a homebody.
Yeah.
I love Adelaide. It's the best.
That's good. What's your favourite place in Adelaide?
I mean the beaches are great, aren't they?
Yeah.
I love the little patch of beach between Grange and Henley.
That's my favourite too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. We take the dog down there in summer and just
Nice.
just chill. But
Yeah.
no, I just love Adelaide. It's so like convenient and you know,
It's like a
I
big
love
country town.
It is, and
Yeah.
you know everyone.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So that's boring, but sorry.
That's right. Good choice. Next one.
9.
Okay, number 9 is your spirit animal.
Golden Retriever.
Good one. So you have a golden
Yes.
retriever. Tell us about him.
His name's Bronny.
Oh,
He's the
cute.
best.
Tell us what you named him after.
Oh, LeBron James's son.
Oh.
Ollie wanted to name him LeBron, but I was like, that's just too obvious. And we know, so LeBron James's son is called Bronny.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love that name.
Love that.
Yeah.
Good choice. Okay, last question.
10.
All right, number 10. If a movie was made about you, which actor or actress is playing you?
Oh, I mean, any redhead actress, really. I'm not
You know
very
what?
good with I don't really watch, I mean, I watch movies, but
You know, I'm thinking like, what's the lady?
what do you think?
Yeah, I was just thinking the lady out of like Katniss Everdeen. What's her name? Jennifer.
Oh, Jennifer
Lawrence.
Lawrence?
Yeah, she would
Oh.
be pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think she would do
Yeah,
well.
she's a vibe. I'm
Yeah.
happy with that.
Okay, good.
All right, let's roll with that.
I think that was 5. Should we just do one more in case?
Yeah, go on. You
Okay.
can- 11.
All right. As a kid, what job did you want?
Oh, so funny. I wanted to be a lot of things, actually. I wanted to be a clown.
Okay.
And I wanted, like, I'm talking young, when I was young.
I wanted to be a race car driver, so that's all right.
I wanted to be a clown, but, like, because I went to a Catholic school, I was, like, super, like, goody-goody when I was a kid. And I
Yeah.
told my mum I wanted to be a nun. And she's like, Meg, you can't be both.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
Good choice. Well, thanks for coming in today. That
No
was
worries.
super
Thanks
easy,
for having
and
me.
thanks for killing my glutes all the time. I really appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Until the next day, I don't.
No,
thanks
thanks
for
for
joining
having me.
us, and good chat about female sport.
Yeah, we love it.
Love it.
Cool.
How good was that interview with Meg, hey? We really talked a lot about Pilates and business and female sports. So if you got anything you want to add into our conversation today, let us know on our Instagram. And unfortunately, we're having next week off. We're at a fitness event, so keep an eye out to what we're doing. And we will be back nice and strong the following week, which I think is the first week of October, with some nice new content.
PB and PW. So my PW for this week would just be stress. I've taken on a lot of different things. Obviously I work full time, and then I'm studying 2 different certificates, and I'm very time poor. So that's going to be my PW for the week.
Look, I think we both need a holiday, because my PW this week is being burnt out on a Friday. I'm just finding that by a Friday I'm so worn out. I think it's a bit of my training changing up and my weeks being so busy at the moment. Just by a Friday night when I get home from work, all I want to do is go straight to bed. And so I really want to find a way for that not to be the way, and hopefully we can shine up for next week. And what's your PB of the week? Hopefully it's something better.
My PB for the week is taking that time on Saturday to just spend out hiking. It was beautiful weather, the sun was shining. Went out hiking, got the endorphins, spent time in nature, and then followed up with a beautiful lunch at Argos on the parade here in Adelaide. So that was my PB for the week. I can't wait for spring and summer. These are my favourite time of the year. People are out and about. You get time to be more active and outside. So that is my PB for the week.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, this weather is so nice. And my PB of the week is actually your recommendation from last week. So I downloaded the Balance app, the meditation one that you recommended. And honestly, I've been doing it every night since, and I have slept so well. There's even a couple of nights in there that I actually fell asleep before it was finished.
Recommendation time. So my recommendation for this week is going to be trashy TV.
Oh, that's a good reco.
So I've been watching Selling the OC.
Oh, we love a good American real estate TV show.
So it's supposed to be like luxury real estate agents selling these multi-million-dollar properties in the OC. But it is a lot about the drama with the real estate agents, and they're always dressed right up, and they really just...
Oh, yeah, so true.
They just fight all the time, really. They don't have any communication skills. They don't know how to deal with conflict. It's just good, trashy TV, and it is good when you're super busy just to watch something mindless. So that's my recommendation for the week.
Oh, yeah, good reco. All right. My recommendation for the week is honestly sleep. Like, this weekend, I made so much effort to go to bed between, 8:30 and 9 p.m. and to be asleep by 9, and honestly I feel so much better. Along with using your Balance Reco app from last week. Honestly, it's so good, guys. You need to go and download it. But yeah, sleep, look after yourself. It really helps. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good week and see you next Wednesday. But we mean next Wednesday. Bye.